the truth.
Hey guys, how's it going? I'm Jim Price, the Jim Price Show Daily Update. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Let's go make up the date like the government does. No, the government doesn't make it up. They know. It's June 8th. It's Monday, 2026. Well, thank you guys so much for being a part of the show. What a great weekend we have had. Lots of goings on, different things. I did watch a double overtime hockey game. With the Vegas and the Carolinas, and they were like doing these little sticky things, and they were like taking this little black thing, and they were going on. Anyway, no, I'm just kidding. It was a lot of fun to watch, pretty intense. Kind of crazy that the amount of things that happened to bring those guys back to almost victory. Carolina was really trying. They scored a lot of points in like 34 seconds of regulation. It was unbelievable. So anyway, a lot of different things going on. Got some things going here and there. Good to see you guys. I want to start today a little bit. I'm going to start a little off path here, but I'm going to get back on in a second. I did name today's episode. I did name today's Disclosure. Now, the reason I named today's episode Disclosure, I want you guys to kind of open your little brains up and crack them like a walnut with the two sides on either side there. No, I'm just kidding. I need you to think about what we mean by disclosure, because I think too many times we think disclosure is like conviction, execution, the end of an era, these different things. In reality, hey, Brenda, good to see you. It really has to do, disclosure has to do with, one, you first have to show the crime. Then you have to get the court of public opinion. But then there's also things that are happening. Like there are absolute convictions. There are things that are happening. There's things that are moving. There are things being disclosed. But the only ones that we want to talk about are the couple dozen or a couple hundred at the very, very tippy top of all the corruption. See, the guys, you may take the head off the snake, but that's not how this snake works. You can cut the head off the snake, get rid of Aunt Hillary or Uncle Bill or Uncle Barry or Big Mike. You can go that whole way, right? You can go down there. But here's the problem. They're really nothing much than a figurehead. Oh, yes, they do wave their hands like the orchestra conductor, right? Yeah, da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Well, I do believe that we're going to see so much more happening, and we don't even want to admit it because we don't see it the way we want to. And guys, here, listen, if you guys are actually articulating and doing all these things and moving through these different processes yourself and doing all this, then this would be kind of a raw session. We're like, yeah, I want that and this and that. Guys, this is a different situation for us, okay? We are in a time right now where we're hearing about things like the FAA authorized COVID shots. Well, why did they really do it? Well, that's coming out in a court case right now. Okay? Why is it that the hidden brain condition doctors are not now linking to COVID? The Tim Walz knew 6 years ago. Again, over and over and over again, we are seeing that things are being disclosed and things are happening, but we don't really want to have that conversation. Well, what about Iran? What about Russia? Russia's the problem. What about Ukraine? Guys, when's the last time you guys really heard anything about Ukraine in the last 6 months? Seriously, like how much Ukraine news are we really getting? See, remember Zelensky was making the world tour, going around glad hand, shaking all the people's hand. I got to go to Europe. I got to go to America. I got to go to Australia. I got to get some money to fight those Russians. What happened to all that? If you really are fighting the Russians and you really are doing what you say you're doing, then why don't you need... Oh, wait, because we gave you another $30 billion last week? By the way, guys, did you know that the state of Kansas actually gives over $5 million a year to the country of Israel because we're friends? Did you know that every single state in America gives money directly to Israel? No goods, no services, no intelligence, no nothing. So how are we supposed to do this? Hello from Mesquite, says George. Good to see you, George. Thank you for being here. When we talk about disclosure, when we talk about how things seem, we too often sit there with our hands interlaced in our little prayer hands or our little hands together, however you guys do it. You know, when you sit there and you pray, you're like, listen, Lord, this need to work out. This is the way. Okay, I need it to be this date and this time and this color and this person and this thing here, and it's going to be this temperature and the sun's going to be here and the leaves are going to be blowing. The problem with disclosure is that's the same way as you praying to God to say, listen, this is how I want it, Lord. I have decided that this is what I'm going to tell you how I want my future to be. Now, in disclosure, we infer too often our outcome, our version of reality, what we think it should or should not be. But when you infer or inference into things like that, that's when you start getting yourself into trouble because you start dictating, you think there's an outcome that you can dictate. When disclosure's coming out and you're hearing about things like all the arrests that are happening around the election of 2020 and 2016, there are still arrests, there are still court cases from 2016. There are ongoing investigations and court cases of 2020. And now we're finding out the investigations that are going into 2024. Now, remember when the Supreme Court said that there was something they were shutting down about the gerrymandering that we had just like 3 weeks ago? 3 weeks ago, everybody had their hair on fire, panties in a twist, wrapped around the axle, whatever metaphor you want to use for freaking out. Oh, blah, 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 blah. But the court case that took 12 years, let's see, it's 2016. If I go back 10, and then I go back 12, that's 2014. Oh, wait, guys, you mean people have actually been fighting since the 2020 election, 2014 election, 2016 election, 2018 election, 2020 election, and that they finally reached the Supreme Court 12 years later? And that the Supreme Court just happened to have a gerrymandered case that actually was coming up right exactly when all these states were trying to redo all their gerrymandering and they went in there and squashed all that? Do you not remember that disclosure? That the disclosure is that there is absolute fraud in the gerrymandering. There's absolute fraud in how they've been making sure that there's blue in all these different weird ways. There's absolute fraud in that. And that is all being shut down. Even Virginia's Democrat-ran Supreme Court even sided with no gerrymandering. Put it back. This is a problem, guys, when we're finding out that a lot of the people that ran way out ahead of the Democrats, way out and did a whole bunch of weird shit, there's a lot of people sitting back going, we didn't buy into that. That's not what we're doing. And they're finding themselves out there a little alone. Now, as the money and as the fame start to dwindle with age and time, a lot of these people that we're looking at right now, the Uncle Barrys and those people out there that are all, these people, what? See, my problem is that when you think about how these people are great, but Uncle Barry is losing his shine. He hasn't been relevant in almost 10 years, 12 years? You mean we're getting to the point now where it's been a minute. Like, we don't even really remember you were president. After that Chicago tower you put up there that looks like some space rock that landed in the middle of Chicago and it's all bent up and wonky and all out of shape. Uncle Barry, what were you thinking? Could you have not done something far more spectacular with all that money? Anyway. Charlie's here too. Charlie Francis, thank you for being here. Good to see you. Brenda's here as well. Thank you so much for being a part of the show. Great conversation with you, Charlie, earlier. Thank you so much for letting me call you. And if you need anything, you let me know. You have my number. And so we can chat it up more. But I hope everything happens okay over there in Israel and that all works out. But the money is going away because the USAID is actually being completely squashed. The Leering centers in Minnesota, the hospice centers in California. These are all these checks. Guys, listen. These are not $12 checks. And stop for a second here. When we're talking about fraud, we're not talking like you had a case of Pepsi underneath the cart and you rolled out of the checkout lane and you got to the car like, oh man, we got that Pepsi for free. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about like that. Like, oh, hey, man, you didn't charge me this candy bar. This is not $12. And this is not $100. And it's not even a thousands of dollar thing. This goes straight to millions and billions that are being stolen with no service at all. Going into America. In fact, we're now finding out, and listen, guys, this is the hurtful part, disclosure, is that a lot of the fraud money that was going to the Leering centers and other places like that were directly going back to fund terrorists that have been killing our men. That's a little known fact that we're not talking about. Do you guys realize that they've actually been able to track most of the cash money that's been going out of Minnesota back to Somalia and other parts of Africa, to realize that those are the same Somalis that go out and actually attack U.S. military boats and other commerce boats that go through that area, and that they're being paid and being brought to power because they're actually getting money out of us, out of our grant system, and then we're going over there and fighting our grant system with our military money? Do you see the math on this yet, guys? And again, I'm not talking about $12. I'm not talking about $100. I'm not talking about $1,000. These are B's and M's. M, million, and B, billion. Guys, this is what we talk about when we mean fraud and disclosure. Now, Uncle Timmy up in Minnesota, he made a declaration, and I just, guys, listen, I didn't know this, and I am so thank you, Uncle Timmy, thank you for being here, thank you. Uncle Timmy said that, yes, there may be fraud in Democrat states, but there's far more in Republican states. And now that I know that, I will go out and I will diligently find the fraud. Because it's more. And we always go for the more. This is the same guy that didn't know that there was fraud going on in his state a year ago, and was actually running for president, talking about how equitable and how inclusive and how brilliant and bright the future of Minnesota is, and how he's going to make such a difference for the Americas because he's been able to run Minnesota in such a brilliant way. His campaign promises, not mine. Talk to his wife. His wife really did a great job too. I mean, I tell you what, some of these women, listen, guys, you need a Hillary Clinton. I would never. I'm like, listen, you need a Hillary Clinton in your life. Because look what she did for that boy. Look what she did for that guy. Look what she did for Uncle Bill. Uncle Bill became president because of her. You understand that, right? Uncle Bill is just a dummy. But even a dumb man can be motivated by a woman who believes in all the little dreams he has. And if she believes in him and almost at delusional way, i.e., Hillary, maybe you too can become Secretary of State and screw the entire globe out of uranium and kill a Somali ambassador. Or not a Somali, a Benghazi ambassador. Don't worry about that. I mean, guys, listen, this is reality. If women actually really, listen, if you guys really almost blindly, just like, oh man, my guy, he shits gold bricks. I love him. That guy is the best man. He's the strongest. He's the tallest. He's the smartest. He's the prettiest. He's the everything in my life. Girls, I'm telling you right now, be careful. Because you motivate a man, you get behind a man, you believe in a man in a way that says, hey, listen, I'm here for you. I'm your guy. Oh, yeah. Oh, you're everything. Oh. And if she literally believes that inside of her heart, not lip service, not just the quacking, just not the whack, 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 not all that, but literally like, baby, the way that you're strong is just not no other man. The way you lead a country, Billy, you lead a country like no other. Let's get you reelected. My man don't have no blowjobs in the office. My man don't mess with no 20-somethings. He's got me. Our lives are beautiful. My man walks on water. I don't know, guys. You tell me. If Aunt Hillary and all of her... God, is that my stomach? If Aunt Hillary can get Bill to the Oval Office, girls, I mean, you could just ride the wave, man. Get it. Do it. Do your thing. You follow what I'm saying on that? Is that getting through to you guys? Hello?
Hello.
Yeah. Hey, Hope Irving, good to see you. Thank you so much for being here. But that's the whole brilliance of it, right? Men, we have this lady's like, I don't feel safe here. Oh, I got you. Don't you worry about that. I got you. He ain't got nothing. But he thinks he does. Why? Because she said, I'm scared. Can you help? Can you protect me? Yeah. Yeah, I got you protected. That's right. That's what I'm doing. Just protecting it right here. Just doing that whole protect thing. That's me. Guys, that's life. All this other shit is just wasted time. We waste a lot of time running around trying to prove things and do things that really don't mean nothing. And I mean that is in the most respectful way as ever. We run around and do too many things and worry about things that don't mean a damn thing about nothing. All right, well, let's find out why the FAA... Let's see why they wanted, let's see what's going on here. An experienced airline pilot claimed he faced retaliation for opposing the COVID-19 shot, which he believed undermined his personal liberties and aviation safety across the industry. Now, what's the problem with that? Well, here we go. So the federal agency must adhere to the Administrative Procedure Act, APA, which outlines a process of rulemaking. However, under the sovereign immunity umbrella, he said, agencies pose a wide range of direction in rule and decision-making. Now, this is actually from somebody within the FAA that this is what they're saying. Federal agencies must adhere to the Administrative Procedures Act, the APA, Administrative Procedures Act, which outlines the processes for rulemaking. And then this person says, however, under the sovereign immunity umbrella, he said, agencies pose a wide range of discretion in rules and decision-making. Now, when I talk about that there's millions of federal, state, and county, city employees, and if they all did 1% of their own free will about what they want to do with their work, we would be millions of degrees off of dead center. Because everybody's doing a little bit, right? Well, right here, it says that there's a certain amount of, discretion in rule decision-making. So you're telling me, even though that there were people high up here, that there were people here that could say, we're not doing that in this department. No, we don't do that here. So you can do that, but did we do that, or were we allowed to do that when we should have done that? Well, let's continue on here. There we go. Let's see. It says, The FAA Federal Air Surgeon, Dr. Susan Northrup, wields the most discretion of all within the agency. She has the authority to medically certify. Oh, wait. Let me try that again. She has the authority to medically certify pilots and air traffic controllers, as well as to any FAA medical certificates. Okay, so she's like the god of medical certificates for FAA pilots and all this stuff. Cool. While the FAA medical certificate is a civilian branch of the government, the military also benefits from the FAA expertise and authority in the field of aviation medicine. Here we go. So the medical certificate is not a simple visit to the FAA aeromedical examiner for a physical checkup, the former airline pilot discussed. Rather, it's a legal process detailed by Northrup herself in a video below. The FAA pilot medical certificate process is an honor system safeguarded by Title 18 of the United States Code. This is critical because of all health declarations pilots make are to be trusted by the people they carry. So I say, I'm a healthy pilot, and then the people that are riding behind me have to believe that. Okay? So he added the definite adverse side effect of the shot, as advertised by the manufacturers, which include blood clots, heart complications, may permanently ground pilots. Thus, pilots are less likely to declare such conditions while they continue to fly or fear of losing their medical and their livelihood. Wow. So the court ruling that finds the FAA did indeed exceed its authority, requiring the court to strike the authorization of the EUA drugs, which will send a shockwave in the airline industry and the air traffic controller ranks, possibly the military. Now, this is currently in the D.C. Court of Appeals, case number 26-1042. In late 23, the FAA safety compliant regarding airline pressure on pilots to use EUAs, which included some of the Johnson & Johnsons between April 19th, 21, 22, December 22. Let's see. Following reports of rare but serious blood clots in the brain, he said, the FDA suspended the J&J for a short time, but the FAA followed the pause recommendations for a longer period. So there's a lot of this where, okay, it's common sense. Life is common sense. Life is a common sense situation. And if we can't bother to sit there and actually be able to have common sense. So here's the FAA, here's military, here's private pilots, here's commercial, here's all these different people, and they're all trying to work within this tooth lock situation where our gears intermesh, where we're able to get our fight worthy, physicals. We got, this and that, making sure that we're in good shape. We haven't drank. We're not under the influence or whatever. But guys, this is a problem when the FAA is making decisions, but then we also have people that are in these different areas of the government or different parts of our society that are being affected by this. So why was it being pushed? Well, it was actually an actual department issue. And we don't want to talk about that. That's what tells me that this whole thing, when we went through this a few years ago, when we kept saying, listen, people aren't saying this. This isn't a thing. This is not how this should be. We shouldn't be dealing with this. We shouldn't have to be forced. We should be able to make our own decisions. But we're finding out, just like in the restaurants where you had the hostess trying to tell people to put masks on and what they could and couldn't do and where they can and cannot be and all that groovy stuff. These are usually people that are hostesses because they can't be a waitress. These are people that are hostesses because they can't be a cook. This is where they're at. And I'm not saying that every hostess is meets their peak of life. But a lot of times when you're interviewing people for different positions, you're like, oh, what are you coming in for? Oh, I want to be a hostess. Okay. Do you have any other skills? No, that's about it. Oh, okay. Here we go. But again, this is that situation where we had people that were in authority that had no authority. But because they were a gatekeeper of that information, that people could make their own decisions, and they said, no, it's mandatory. Remember that? It's a mandate. And I thought mandate was when two guys got together and had a beer. But I must be confused there. But anyway, my problem with it is that there's a lot of people who were put into authority positions that had no authority and really had no skills to manage that authority. And the one thing that we sorely miss in this country right now is true understanding of what leadership is. All right. Yeah, we'll talk about that more later. So here's where we go. Monday by the House. Now this is why I went off on Timmy a little bit this morning or this afternoon. Monday, the House Committee on Oversight and Government Reform majority staff includes that concluded. Sorry, let me screw that up again. Monday, the House Committee on Oversight and Government Reform majority staff includes the Governor Tim Walz and Attorney General Keith Ellison were reportedly warned about widespread fraud in Minnesota tax-funded programs for years. Now, here's the problem with this. Remember that guy that Timmy, I said he got up there and there's like, oh, there's so much more fraud in the blue states than there is, the red states than there is in the blue. I was saying it right to begin with. He's like, oh, it's all the Republican states that's got so much fraud. It's just the worst. Okay, well, you guys were in charge a minute ago. Why didn't you guys do anything about that, Timmy? So this is that same guy. But also, here's my problem with Timmy. He's got a credibility issue where up to almost 7 years ago, he was notified and debriefed and included in a lot of information that had to do with the fraud and the whistleblowers that were reporting that fraud, and he turned them away. According to senior officials in the Walz administration and the Ellison office, they were aware of the credible fraud concerns as early as 2019. And in 2020, the Minnesota Department of Education, they were also under investigation. So we got Department of Human Services and Department of Education. 19 Human Services, 20 Education. That seems like a while ago. That's a hot minute. So here's what the report says. Senior officials in Walz and Ellison's office were aware of the credible systemic fraud. This is in the report. In the Feeding Our Future case, MDE, officials identified serious deficiencies. Next one, state agencies had clear authority to suspend or stop payments, but didn't. Officials repeatedly cited litigation threats and fear of racism allegations. So the government is afraid of being called a racist. So you just keep taking our money and we'll keep writing you the checks. Oh, Terrence Williams, good to see you, buddy. Thank you for being here. Terrence says, good to see you. He goes, military has all the voter rolls. Absolutely, they do. Absolutely, they do, guys. Oh, let me do this. Let me see if I can pull this up. And I don't know why my messenger is just not working it today. Work it. Oh, yeah, work it. Let's see here where we at. Man, oh, man. And let's see if I got it in there. There we go. Let me bring this up. Hey, guys, it's Jim Price from The Jim Price Show. Don't play it yet. Golly. All right, let me play this video for you. This is the one I did. Oh, I'm not going to do that one. I already showed you that, guys. Remember last week when I was talking? This is actually, Brenda actually brought this to my attention this weekend. Remember that video that I put out about the 113 billion unique votes or unique lottery tickets that are sold every year? Remember that whole conversation? Well, let's listen to it real quick. We can listen to it. Hey, guys, it's Jim Price from The Jim Price Show. I have a couple questions about elections. I know we've all been talking about these things and saying, hey, election this, election that. I know this, I know that. Oh, I can't get to a voting box. I don't know how to register. But what I do know is that our city, county, state, and federal government sell 113 billion billion lottery tickets every single year, year after year, and they don't lose a one. They know within seconds exactly who bought it, how they bought it, with cash, credit card. Okay, I was just playing the audio on that. Hey, good to see you, Philip Martin. Good to see you, partner. Thank you so much for being here. Now, the reason I played that video, and that's the one I talked about, the election integrity issue, that we sell 113 billion with a B, 113 billion unique lottery tickets every single year, and track them down to the nanosecond. Well, that video was then dumped porn onto it, and then TikTok took it as a community standard violation and then took it down. Now, there was no porn on there. That video that I have on my phone and on this laptop, and it's on Facebook and on other places, it's over on Rumble, it's other places. There's no violations. There is no issues. But TikTok just happened to somehow dump the video on the backside of my video that had porn on it. And so I woke up the next morning after posting that video, and then had a few people liking it over the evening. But then Brenda happened to catch it when it had the porn still on it. And then she said, well, now I can't find it. I said, yeah, because they community violated me. They took it down. And I didn't know why. It wouldn't tell me. She says, well, there was porn on there. So the problem with this is, guys, is that there is so much of our lives that are being affected. But I put out a video about election integrity and about how many votes or how many tickets can be sold in a year, and that was a threat to whatever the authority was. That was a threat to them. But why? It's a matter of will. And if we're going to expose the matter of will about it, right, then we're going to get dangerous. Because the people that have the will to cheat in such a way will kill you in a second and never think 2 seconds about it. They don't care. And the sad part of it is you know who actually cares about life or death? You and I. We cherish that. We look for that. They don't cherish that. They don't look for that. If they're willing to cheat the American people out of their vote and go around the world and do it globally, killing somebody is nothing. Killing something is like, oh, cool, whatever, go kill him. I got other shit to do here. You follow what I'm saying here? 113 billion unique lottery tickets are issued every single year. And someone had to go in and somehow find a way to hack into my video, dump porn on it, so that TikTok would then say, look, see? Oh, there was porn here. We have to take it down. Who's doing that, and why is it so important they maintain control? Why is it that we're seeing that in this disclosure of things, it's not the way we want it and not how we want it? Why did we have just 2 weeks ago have the conversation about what's really going to come out about the election integrity, and you're going to be very surprised about it? Why did we hear about that a couple weeks ago? And why was that just a little clip that the Jim Price Show brought to you and talked to you about it? Have you heard that clip anywhere else? Have you heard anybody else talking about it? Because it's not in their will. It is not what they want. It's not how they want it. And if they lose control, then they lose that little power and that little bit of money that they think is so damn important. But this is what we do, guys. This is the reality of it. Killing you is easier than dealing with you. So we have also, let's go back to the Tim Walz thing real quick. I don't know why I went off that, but here, intimidating through regular high-level check-ins, threats of surveillance, efforts to keep whistleblowers quiet rather than fixing the problems. The report also details how Walz administration retaliated against its employees. Our government is worried about racism. Our government is worried about all this other stuff, but it ain't worried about billions and trillions. I think we all got our math wrong. And I think the fact that we're the only ones who really care about life in a way that we feel like we should go out and sacrifice ourselves for it shows you that the people we're up against need to be dealt with harshly, because they don't believe in just going away. They're mad you caught them. They're mad you're saying anything. So don't be mad when they try to kill you for it. That's how it works. But I did want to mention that to you about the fact that there is a whole thing out there where this is a new one for me, and I'm going to see if there's some others. I'm going to talk to some of my other friends, my other influencers and stuff, and I'm going to see if there are other people who are finding this. Now, when I lost my Facebook page with 10 million people on it, which is still out there, the Jim Price Show that has me and Jim Brewer in it, that's the old account that got hacked. Facebook can't get it back, they said. We don't know. Well, sorry. Well, we don't know what to do. But the same exact scenario that she just gave me about my TikTok is the same exact scenario that happened on my Facebook page. And yet my Facebook page wasn't hacked, and neither was my TikTok. In fact, I went back to see my logins on TikTok, and there's nothing. It's just my phone. My phone and the tablet have it in there. But yet, I've lost these videos over community violations for what? Why? They overlaid a video into my video, and so then it looks like I'm doing it, so then they ban my page for it. It's the same exact process they did when they got rid of my Facebook page 3 or 4 years ago. I can't even remember when it was I lost my page anymore. Let's see, when did I start this one here? Let's see here. Do I have an about? Oh, 20. Let's see. I don't know. I don't see where it tells me how long I've been on there. I can see it on other people's. I don't know why I can't see it on mine. Anyway. Oh, the things we do for fun. Brenda, it happens to us. That's how wicked those people are. Well, yeah. And that, I guess that's the problem, right? Is I get in my moral compass of things, I'm not thinking about, God, I got to win this election so bad. Who's in the way? Who can I kill to make this better for me? Like, who do I want to kill to make my life better? That doesn't even make sense. Doesn't make sense. Now, I have been accused of doing amazing things. In fact, I even found out today that there was somebody else came up with something out of Arizona, but yet I was a defense contractor during the exact same time I was supposed to be serving a prison sentence in Arizona. So I just, when people look for the negative and look for the things that they want to go after, it is breathtaking. But I don't know why it is that somehow is. Let me ask you this quick question, guys. I don't have millions of views on my stuff. I used to have good counts. I used to get a lot of counts. Big stuff. YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, the whole thing. Big stuff. Had a lot of numbers. I don't get those anymore. So let me ask you a quick question. You guys watch me faithfully. A lot of you guys have been here faithfully for years. If some of you are new, why am I being taken down, and why are there others that get taken down that do similar things to me, but we're not popular? We're telling the truth, and you guys are watching me because I tell you the truth, not because I'm lying to you guys. If I am lying about something, please, if I have told you misinformation, I need to be corrected, and I need to know what that is so I don't keep pushing bad information. And I have checked myself. There are people who come to me with information like, Jim, they can't say that. That's not how that works. I'm like, oh, really? I didn't know that. Like, that's new to me, and I'll tell my people. But the point of it is, guys, is that you look at how much I am shadow banned, how I can't find myself on my own Facebook page. When I go to search myself on Facebook, or I go to search myself on Twitter, on my own login, I have to spell it all the way out and then press search, and then it will still be 2 or 3 down. Whatever I'm saying, whatever I'm doing is scary. And that part, guys, really should be terrifying to everybody. Because what I'm saying is really not the hard stuff, is really not the bad stuff. It's I try to keep it broad stroked so it kind of, you guys can fill in your own blanks and come to your own conclusions on stuff. I try to get you there. But why am I so dangerous? What is it? My voice even a little cracked there. Why am I so dangerous? What is it that they don't want me to tell you? What is it that I'm saying that you guys receive from me, that you bring in and you process through your life and you work your life according to that information, what am I saying that's either a lie because they're like, oh, we got to take this down, he's a liar? Or what is it? What is it that makes me so dangerous? The truth? The fact that I don't want to play their game? The fact that I'm over here saying, guys, you don't have to do that. You don't have to go do that. You don't have to be a part of it. Is that what it is? Am I that dangerous? I weigh 175 pounds. I mean, I'm down after my accident at the beginning of the year, I'm down another 10, so I'm down to 175 now. I used to roll the 230s, 220s, 200. I sat there for a long time. So what am I a threat? I'm not out here, I'm not like, I don't know. What am I a threat to? I'm only telling you what I know and what I see and my perception of it. My thought process. What makes my thought process so terrifying? So dangerous to their system? And if they're willing to come after me with that kind of energy, that kind of bravado, if the Democrat National Committee out of D.C. sent 12 flyers out against me, am I that dangerous? They spent over $150,000 on my campaign for state senate in 2016. They spent $120,000 trying to keep me out of office against Lynn Rogers. Why am I so dangerous? What about the truth, or where am I going with the truth that they're so afraid of? Or is it just their fragile egos and their insecurities because they know that they're not really a person of value, that they have to take down those that are people of value? I'm just trying to, I am literally working this with you guys right now. This is part of the process. Hey, Nina, good to see you. Thank you so much for being here. Nina Horton, one of my OGs. Nina Horton from the old school. She's been around. Nina has been around since back when I was on the local radio station here in town. Before I moved away from them. She has been around a long, long time. I miss her to death. Her family is awesome. And so, Nina, I hope to see you soon, girl. I'm glad you're here still. Do keep going great. Keep doing what you do. Do not give up. So, anyway, because you dared to tell us the truth, my friend, is what Nina just said. Well, thank you for that, Nina. I appreciate that. Well, and again, this is that part of the show where it's like, guys, we've got to figure out how to break through this. Okay, we got to do this together. I can try to spend money, or I can try to do better on the website, or I can try to do better posts, or I can. But the problem is that we have to go harder than. Remember when Trump said we have to vote to beat the cheat. We have to vote so much to get past the cheat. Remember that? This was a campaign promise. This was said. I heard it 100 times if I heard it once. We have to vote to beat the cheat. We have to vote more than the cheat. And I think that will come out eventually. So, all right, getting back to the news. 444 on the clock. Good to see you guys. All right. So, again, and this is how you keep people in check. Intimidation through regular high-level check-ins. What does that mean? That your boss stops by, your supervisor stops by, your foreman stops by. It's just a constant checking in, keeping you on edge. Say, oh, hey, let me check that paperwork, make sure you did it right. Let me check hey, where did you buy that at? Oh, did you get authorization? Oh, what'd you do this? What'd you do that? Right? You manage them harder, okay? Then threats of surveillance. Again, manage them harder. You give them harder management. You surveil now, right? So not only we're going to check in, we're going to watch you from a distance. Ooh-ha-ha. And then efforts to keep whistleblowers quiet rather than fixing the problem. Again, if you are benefiting from the fraud, are you going to try to get rid of the fraud? If you think you can? If you think you can shove it under the rug? It's possible. It is absolutely crazy to just watch this stuff. Billions of dollars were stolen because Minnesota state leaders turned a blind eye to rampant fraud and retaliated against state employees who dared to raise concerns. It is now clear that the Walz administration chose to protect the system rather than the taxpayers. Americans are fed up with the fraud and expect action from the government entrusted with their hard-earned money. The House Oversight Committee has now passed over a dozen bills aimed at protecting taxpayer funds and strengthening oversight of federal programs. So will we see that? If we pay attention. Will we see that? If we hold them accountable. Will we see that? If we keep talking about it. Will we see that? If you wanted to see that. Will we see it? If you put energy behind it. See how everything means that you got to do a little part. You got to do your part. You know, a lot of times it's called the observer. The double slit experiment through physicists that actually talk about how that things act irregular until you look at them. And then when you look at them, they line up nice and neat. It's kind of like kids in a bedroom or kids in a classroom. They're all running around like a bunch of idiots till they hear the teacher coming. Oh, she's coming. Everybody just sits there quietly. Well, if you observe fraud, if you observe the process of fraud, if you keep paying attention to the court cases, you keep paying attention, you keep sharing it, you keep driving it, you keep pushing the Jim Price show out, you keep pushing the fraud stories out, you keep calling out the frauds, you keep sharing the frauds, you keep making sure that the fraud is always the conversation, what's going to happen to the fraud? It's going to go away because you're going to focus on it to the point where everybody looks at it and then it goes away. If you don't focus on it, then what does fraud get to do? La, 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 la. It just goes off and does whatever it wants, right? It don't care. It don't give two shits because you're not looking. But when you pay attention, it's like, oh, crap, they're looking. What do we do now? Oh, say we didn't do it. Yeah, we didn't do it. Yeah, you did. Oh, well, what we meant was we didn't mean to do it. Oh, no, that doesn't count either. Do you see where I'm going with this, guys? Do you see the math? That's where this happens. Observation, energy. Oh, absolutely. Courtney Allen, good to see you. Thank you for being here. Got caught at work, home now. Got to catch the replay. Well, no worries, Courtney. Appreciate it. Good to see you. I didn't realize we had that photo from a couple years ago, Courtney, that came up on Facebook there. That was kind of interesting. I didn't realize. But it came up on my feed. All right. Houston grandfather brutally murdered by career felon following carjacking. Why is carjacking a thing? I mean, I don't know. I don't, guys. Listen. I don't know if I just drive. I mean, my truck locks the doors when you put it in drive. You know, that's a modern thing they do. But I don't know. Are we just so unaware that we can just get? We're just driving down the road. And we stop at a sign. And we just get drug out of the car. Like, oh my God, I'm being carjacked. What were you doing? Did you not see the individual coming to your car? Did you not see, like I've seen these people like sitting there and the guy's like walking at you with a gun and you don't think of hitting the accelerator? You could go 60 miles an hour in 6 seconds and you couldn't have. Bam! I don't understand that. Why are you negotiating with a dude when you got an accelerator and 3,000 to 4,000 pounds of vehicle and a half or more take of gas or whatever you got in the gas tank? Go for it. This is the part, again, I haven't been carjacked. I don't know how that works. I don't understand the situation. I've never been in it. I do have a friend that has been carjacked before, but he ended up getting the guy. I don't think the guy got away. I think he ended up taking care of it. But anyway. But again, we're having these habitual criminals. If we eliminate administrative crimes in prisons, we would have more space for the real criminals that do personal crimes. Personal crimes are physical crimes, meaning that they touched someone else or they touched someone else's things. 70% of our prisons are full of administrative crimes. Look it up. Guys, I've researched this stuff like crazy. We waste more money on the stupidest shit in this country for no good reason whatsoever. We don't have to. We really don't have to. DC Comics Pride Month issue features transgender Wonder Woman. Jesus. Okay. Well, that's cool. All right. Well, there's going to be more coming out. There will be more coming out, and there will be things that you need to hold them accountable for, and you need to have the conversations because you can't just let it come out, and you're like, oh, see, it came out. Just like the fraud in Minnesota, the fraud in California, all those things going on right now. This is all very big. This is what you need to be pushing on. Voter integrity, all the fraud that's going on. Guys, I've talked about this. I've said, guys, this grant program doesn't have a reciprocating process. They just give you the $1 million, and you don't ever have to come back and tell them what you did with it. They'll give you $1 billion. Hell, they gave Gap Tooth down there in Georgia billions of dollars. Billions. $2 billion for refrigerators and stuff. For energy efficiency, cool things. $2 billion. You don't think any of that's made it to the election integrity or election stuff that they're doing down there and all that payoffs and stuff? How about the fact that I know that there is a governor in this country that actually was changing the bills of lading so that didn't show that it was actually going to a person for paying them off for election participation. No, it looked like needles and masks and alcohol wipes. I know that paperwork exists. I know those things are out there. But the sad part of it is that people don't want to because they benefited and now they're in those positions and now they can't go after them because if they go after the fraud, they have to go after themselves because they benefited from the fraud. Do you see how that works? Yeah. All right, guys. Well, good to see everybody out there. It's good stuff. Courtney Allen, Brenda here, Terrence Williams, Cora, Philly Martin was here. Rebecca was here. I had Charlie Francis and all the others. Good to see you guys. Thank you for being here. And George, thank you, sir, for being here as well. All right, guys. And yes, that is the George we've all been talking about. It's good to see you, man. We got to do better. Got to do better on this whole thing. Disclosure is a real thing. All right, guys, remember the 10% we do for our neighbor, community, city, county, state, the federal government. The more you do for them, the less they have to do for you. Learn how to be selfless and not so damn selfish. There will be a far, far better place. Remember, hold the line, hold fast, do not give up, do not give in. We'll win, I promise. I promise I can't keep, guys. You've always been the answer out there. Remember that Constitution? Well, that limits the government, but never limits you. If you don't know that, your government lied to you, and that's because they want to control you. Understand your authority and know who you are and quit giving in to people that have nothing to you. And by the way, authority is given. It's not taken. If you give authority to somebody, that's you. All right. It's good stuff out there, guys. Don't give up on each other. We need each other. We need the future. It's going to get way better for all of us. I really do believe there's a lot of great things happening. And I believe that because I want that. And I'm not going to continue to say the negative bullshit that I keep hearing from everybody else. Well, there was an ant on my I got a bird poop on my windshield. Stop. Find some positive affirmations. Find some positive words. Tell me about how great the future is going to be. And let's see how close we can get to that mark instead of the bullshit over here and the negativity. All right, guys, that's about it for me. I'm Jim Price, the Jim Price Show Daily Update. You guys all be good to each other out there, and I will see you guys tomorrow.